So my guest today played high school ball in Arizona, Juco ball in Arizona, and just signed with the Milwaukee Brewers 2 weeks ago, Caleb Nieman. What's going on, brother?
How's it going?
Good, good. I'm glad to have you on. Glad you could
Yeah,
find time in your busy schedule. I know the last 2 weeks have probably been a whirlwind, but thank you for coming on. I really, really appreciate it.
yeah, I appreciate the opportunity. The last 2 weeks have definitely been surreal, but yeah, it's been cool.
Dream come true, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Um, so what I want to do today is just kind of get into who you are. You know what I mean? What your trials, your tribulations, the ups, the downs, and what got you to the point 2 weeks ago,
hmm
right? So I always like to get right into it, and
Yeah.
tell us a little bit about yourself. Where are you from? Where'd you grow up?
Well, originally I'm from Southern California, Huntington Beach, and then we ended up moving out here when I was about 5 years old, and I've lived out here ever since. And nothing like the great state of Arizona. I love it here.
Yeah, I moved here 14 years ago, and I'll never leave. Love it
Yeah,
here.
no,
Arizona's the
love it.
best.
Great place.
So, when did you pick up baseball? When did you start playing?
I played about every sport you could imagine growing up. Like, first sport was ice hockey. We got into basketball, the soccer, football, and then, about 10, 11 years old, we landed on baseball. And, after the first year, I was like, this is what I want to do. So, 10, 11 years old, started out in Little League, started getting into club ball, and then it was from there to where we are now.
So you were playing all year round if you were playing little league and club ball and
Yeah, so I started out my first season in Little League, and then we went straight to club. And, I played it literally ever since, the last 10 years straight. So,
so you played at Cactus Shadows.
hmm
Talk a little bit about your career at Cactus Shadows.
Cactus Shadows was a big, personality finder for me. It was a great time. I came in as a hitter, and then I was like, hey, I want to give pitching a try again. And, I started getting on the mound, and, it wasn't an easy road at all.
So you played high school ball somewhere else
Yeah.
before.
Previously, I played at Sandra Day O'Connor.
Okay.
Yeah, and then we ended up making the move over there. That there was something that happened that just wasn't working out between me and that place, and we landed on Cactus Shadows because I had a lot of great friends there, and who you previously
Yeah, Antonio.
interviewed, Antonio, Dylan Roberts, Derek Schaefer. Some of my best friends now. They were like, hey, come over here. I ended up having a conversation with Gianni, and I was like, this will be a good opportunity for me. So we ended up getting over there. It was, to say the least, it was worth the drive every day.
Yeah, Coach G's an absolutely amazing coach.
Yeah.
Cactus Shadows coach.
hmm
Coach G's been doing it for 20 plus years, 28 years, I think.
Yeah.
Absolutely amazing coach.
Yeah. Great man. Great
So
man.
being a part of the Cactus Shadows program, how did that help you out?
It helped me find an identity. It gave me opportunities as well. At first, I was a hitter, and we got it all squared away there. I wasn't the best hitter by any means, but he gave me the opportunity to pitch, and that built the blueprint for what I am now. So
And you had
without
never
that,
pitched before?
no, I had pitched, but there was a lot of inconsistency. I had pain in my arm, stuff like that. Like that, I couldn't consistently be on the mound and get stuff done. So I ended up stopping for a little bit, and I was excelling at hitting at my other school. I was a great hitter. At one point, I was like one of the top 10 players in the state for my position, and overall, it was like, all right, this is what I'm gonna do. And then I kind of cooled off, and I started finding struggles in that, and I was like, all right, you know what does a bad hitter do? He becomes a pitcher. So I was like, what, let's try it out. I started throwing. I was like, oh, it was a big realization moment. Like, hey, I could maybe do this, because I started throwing. The first bullpen I threw, I was like 89 to 91. I was like, all right, this is something I could do at another level. So that's kind of how that came into fruition, because of that opportunity
And
that
how old were
Gianni
you at
gave me.
that point?
I think I was 16, 17 years old. Yeah, I've always been very physical in a way. I've always had a good build. I've always had a good body. I loved working out. I still do. It's just my strength at the time was, giving me the blueprint to
Mhm.
throw hard and do this, but that was all I had.
Natural ability.
Yeah, just
That's what you were
natural
working
ability.
off of at
Yeah,
that time.
absolutely. And then, from there, I started getting more and more opportunity, and I ended up getting a scholarship to Central Arizona because of an opportunity Gianni gave me to play on a good summer team.
Mm-hmm.
And then, yeah, it all went from there.
So let's go to your first year at Central Arizona. So you redshirt your first year,
Hmm.
right? So you don't play at all.
Yeah.
And then going into the summer between your freshman year and your sophomore year, that's where I feel this whole transformation really takes place. So
Yeah, and it absolutely is. Just like to start off, like coming into Central Arizona, I was on a high horse for some odd reason. Like, I had a good summer. I had been up to 95 previously. I was like, oh, yeah, I'm going to be the man here. And then that got shut down immediately the first week. I've never been so humbled in my life. I was at a point where I was I was very unserious. I was kind of just like, you know, messing about like, oh, and like this is just fun. Oh, yeah, this and that. And it was like I wasn't learning anything. And that helped me. It didn't help me in a social aspect with my teammates because it's like, oh, this kid's just here to fool about and do this, and he's not really serious about what was to come. And that ended up me. That
and
ended
this
up.
is in summer ball.
No, no, no. This is my first year at Central. This
First
is
year at
coming into
Central.
Central.
Okay.
Yeah. So just starting from there, like I started off on a really bad foot, and I dug myself a massive hole that I had to come and bring myself out of. And not to mention, like, I came in, I was extremely overweight, out of shape. I wasn't a great pitcher. I didn't throw a lot of strikes, and it helped build the blueprint to me building good habits because I had such bad habits to start. And it's like if it weren't for my teammates, if it weren't for my coaches, like I don't know if I would still be playing baseball because that first fall was the most like humbling. It was mental warfare to an extent.
Within yourself.
Yeah, within myself because it was like the first 2 weeks I'm like I don't really have any friends on the team. So it's like, hey, what am I doing wrong? Is it the way I act? Is it who I am as a person? And it started this change in the right
You
direction.
started looking at yourself
Yeah,
from the outside
yeah,
and trying to put yourself in other people's position to
exactly.
find out what was wrong and what
Yeah,
changes you need to make. That's a really big step.
yeah,
A lot of
no,
people
that
never figure that out.
that is where I learned perspective. And, it's like the way you carry yourself and the way you go about your business is the most important thing like ever. Like it's especially making first impressions, stuff like that. Like I didn't make any good impressions at all to start. And then this process came where like, hey, the wheels start to turn up here and I'm starting to realize like, hey, I just got to sit down and shut up and work hard. And then, hey, I start to do that a little bit. Hey, I'm building some good habits here. Hey, I'm starting to make more friends. People actually want to talk to me. And it's like, this is all I have to do. But then that was my issue is I got comfortable with that and I didn't want more. So, I kind of got a little taste of it and I started to do better after that. Like I started pitching better, started, doing better in school a little bit. I started making better relationships, all the things you want out of your first year of
Yeah.
college. And then, you know, I come in the winter, they tell me, "Hey, like you might have an opportunity to pitch in a spot for us this year." And then I come back, I go into the winter, and the winter was just bad. Like I came in, I started doing things differently. It got to this point where like, all right, this guy's telling me to do this, but it's not working. Like, what do I do now? I had zero adjustability.
So during the season, you fell into good. I'm just trying to. So during the season, you fell into good habits. Winter came along, and you kind of
Yeah,
slacked off a little
yeah,
bit, and
yeah.
really didn't.
Yeah, I started to fall in some good habits, especially towards the end. I was getting my feet under me, and then I got that completely swept
You
out
just
over the
starting
winter.
back over again from
Yeah,
square one.
exactly. It was just back to square one. Like, hey, I'm not doing this well. Hey, I'm still out of shape. Hey, I'm still not moving well. There was so much that I didn't realize what it took in a case. Like, there were so many huge things that I didn't find out until that summer that I didn't have in my game. And then I came back with this expectation like, hey, I'm actually going to throw innings this year. And they're like, you're actually going to redshirt. And that ended up being one of the best things that ever happened to me, because I ended up having a core group of dudes, Max Stagg, Adam Beeman, Nick Bertucci. Those were my fellow redshirts that year. Some of the most hardworking guys I've ever been around. These guys truly want it, and I just couldn't fall into their habits because they were just so big, they were so good. They were so good at what they do. They were so dedicated to what they want to do. They're like, hey, I want this. And I don't know what was holding me back at that time. I've still yet to figure that out. But I think I was just extremely lazy. I just didn't really want it at that point. And then, I had a redshirt year. I started throwing hard again. Like, hey, stuff's starting to turn around. And, towards the end again, I repeated that process. I got my feet under me, and, stuff's going good. I'm really excited for summer ball, like that opportunity. And then, we get sent out to summer ball, Humboldt, California. Shout out Humboldt Crabs. But that ended up being the turning point. Yeah.
At this point, are you even remotely thinking about playing in the majors and getting signed by a team?
Absolutely not. I'm thinking about, hey, like, summer's coming up. I got to get my innings in. I got to get ready.
Just trying to figure out college ball at this point. And that was, a year ago?
Yeah. My whole thing was like, I got to try and make the team next year. So it's like I put a bunch of pressure on myself. Like, I have to perform here. I have to get it done here. And it was like to a point where like, hey, we get to summer ball. First couple outings went well. Like throwing strikes, I'm getting it done. And then I get this string of outings, 3-4 outings where I'm just getting thwopped. There was one point we were on a road series in Lincoln. I gave up back-to-back walk-offs in, I think, 20 hours from each other.
Wow.
Yeah. One of them was kind of just like oh, well, can't control it. Kid chopped one 100 feet in the air. Then the next kid hit a sac fly. And then the second one, I blew like a 4-run lead and gave up a walk-off homer. So it was like that was the most demoralizing thing in my career. And I had no clue how to handle it.
And you still were doing the same thing and going about your processes the same way you had your whole entire life.
Exactly. I was going same about the same way. Mindset was bad. It was just like, oh my gosh, what am I gonna do now? It's like there's no way I'm ever gonna pitch after this. Like there's no way I'm gonna see consistent innings, and I just spiraled mentally. And I think at that point I finally hit rock bottom, and it was like, all right, something in me, something needs to change. At this point, I'm still 250 pounds. I'm still out of shape. I'm extremely tight. I didn't move well on the mound. And then, we get some guys shipped out, and I started talking with these guys. Like, these guys were pushing me towards like good habits. Like, he was like, Ian Hughes. He's a pitcher at Nevada Reno. This was one of the main guys that I can attribute this to. He was like, hey, just come do this like mobility routine with me. I was like, all right, cool. Like at first I was saying no. And then finally one day I was like, all right, cool. I'll do it. So I started doing that, and it's like, hey, I'm feeling better. And then I keep doing it, and it's like, hey, I'm feeling better consistently, and now I'm starting to build this. I got a good mobility routine now. I did that for the rest of the summer. I came in out of shape, fat, and then apart from that change where I was really like, all right, something's got to change, I changed my diet. I changed my routines. I started getting better sleep. I stopped the whole snacking because like that was causing me to be so heavy.
Yeah. I know about snacking. So.
Yeah, but then I started building these good routines, and it's like, hey, I'm starting to play better. Hey, like my relationships are good. Like I've met some really good friends that I still talk to there. And it's like, wow. Like if I can stay on this uptrend, like I'll definitely make the team, and I'll definitely I'll give myself a chance, you know? So, I build these good routines. I start losing weight. I come in, we finish out that summer. There was a point where I was still kind of struggling though. I'm starting to piece all this together, and it's all right. I remember this is what I told myself. My last 2 outings of the summer. My last 2 outings of the summer, I come out and I was like, I don't care what happens. If I give up 10 and don't get a single out, or if I punch out the side, I do not care about result at all. What's about to happen, I don't care. I think I threw 2 innings, I punched 6 in a row. Just 6 up, 6 down. I was like, oh, wait, did I just figure something out? Or did I just get a good idea towards this? And I do it my next outing. I punch out 5. I don't give up any runs. I think I walked a guy. And I was like, all right, I'm starting to see success when I stop taking the whole result out of it and putting all the pressure on myself and, just playing the game. Because at the end of the day, we're playing a kid's game.
Yeah.
And that's what I realized. It was it doesn't matter if I win or I lose. I get to play a kid's game in college, and I got a college scholarship from it. There's nothing better than that. So we end up getting to the point where we finish out summer ball. I get home, I spend some quality time with my friends. I haven't been around. That was the longest I've been without seeing my friends, all sorts of stuff like that. And then, it's time to roll at Central. And I come in with everyone's who is this guy? I was a completely different person. I'm in shape. At this point, I'm 225 pounds or 230 pounds. It's I've shed 40 pounds from last year. It's who is this guy? And then, hey, I start working hard. A big part of my routine when I got back to Central was hey, we got lift at 9 a.m. or 8 a.m. I think pitcher lift. And then, I'd get in an hour before, do my mobility. It's this guy's
So you stuck with the mobility.
Yeah,
you stuck with everything that you had learned during summer ball.
Absolutely. Because they were good habits for me, and at the end it worked out. So, I ended up being I started being the first guy in the gym, and everyone's all right, okay. I'm starting to get positive feedback from everyone around me. And it's okay. And then people come in and start doing it with me. And at this point, hey, now I'm starting to be a leader. It's this is what I wanted, but that was the hard part, is I had to wake up every day and I had to maintain this. And that helped me build discipline, because before, I ate whatever I want. I worked out when I felt like it. And it's hey, you start to unlock that discipline. It's even though I may not want to go do this, I have to.
Yeah.
And that's when I started building good mental habits, where it's hey, this is more important than this. And this is what I should do here. And it's all right, starting to build this. I got people starting to join in with me. People are proud of me. It's how can I maintain this? And it translated in that fall where, I started building good habits on the field, and hey, all of a sudden I'm actually a pitcher now. I'm not just a thrower. It's I think that fall was one of the best stretches of baseball I had. I threw 15 and a third. I had a 0 ERA. I didn't give up a single run that whole fall. And I was whoa. I think I can call myself a pitcher now.
Yeah, it's a pretty big turnaround from the summer ball.
Yeah,
initially.
Absolutely. And it was I went from being
in a short period of time, just by changing your habits and your routines and being disciplined.
Yeah, absolutely. And it was hey, I went from questioning, am I even going to be on the team, to now it's what is my role going to be? Because, it went to what was my role going to be? And then I was all right, now I just got to go into the winter, get it done. And thankfully I went in that winter. I was a completely different person. Everyone noticed there. I'm working my butt off. I have good habits. I'm actually
polar opposite from the winter before.
I'm actually learning now.
Yeah.
I've became more coachable, and it's all right. I went in this is pretty much what really helped me change. It was like we came in, we found out my original pitch shape is a cutter for my fastball. And I was like 90, 93. And then my whole ramp up process and the throwing, they were like, we're going to teach you how to throw a four-seam fastball. And then, I started getting on the mound. And it's like, I'm flicking the easiest 90 I've ever seen. And then we get into touch and feel. I'm sitting like 88, 90, and that was probably what I sat all summer. And then we go into my first like intent bullpen, and you're sitting 92 to 95. I was like, whoa. Like I never imagined that out of me, especially not in that quick of a turnaround. And then, we get going, it starts going. I throw my first live at bats, 93 to 96. I'm like, jaw dropped. I couldn't believe it. It sucks for my friends because I didn't stop talking about it for like a month.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah. I was like, yeah, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. But that was another like, hey, you got to be humble now.
Well, now you're building up confidence.
Yeah.
You've got a routine. Your mental state's better.
Mm-hmm.
You're seeing the results. Now the confidence is building going into the season.
Yeah, it was a completely different Caleb. I went from hating myself and, not being able to handle anything and not being able to handle failure, not being able to handle being told no and all sorts of stuff like this. And it's like, whoa, like when you just, listen to people and, be coachable and just work hard, like it's crazy how much you can get back.
Mm-hmm.
So that comes around. We start getting into our spring ramp up for the season. We have our first inter squad. I sat 94 to 97. I was like,
wow.
And at this point, my mind is blown. I'm like, oh my gosh. Like I've never been so excited.
Where's the control at this point though?
I'm throwing strikes.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, the blueprint was there. I'm dotting up strikes. At this point, I'm one of the best pitchers on our team, I'd say, in my opinion at least. But
you got to be confident.
Yeah. I mean, I had so many good guys around me though that just like I got to feed off those guys now because it's like, all right, he's changed. He's going to be able to produce for us this year. Like guys were starting to buy into me, which was nice, but then I had to return it and buy into them, like, and listen to what they had to say. And maybe, it kind of started this like ping pong effect where, I'm throwing ideas at him and he's throwing ideas at me and like, hey, we're actually getting somewhere.
Yep.
So it's like, I go into that first season of baseball, I've never been so excited for something in my life. First outing comes around, did great. Ended up getting my first collegiate win against Yavapai. Unfortunately, we lost the series, but in all selfishness, I was super happy in my third game win. But
personally, you were happy.
Yeah. Personally, I was, but we weren't happy about the series loss. But it's like, hey, I'm sitting 93 to 95. I'm throwing a bunch of strikes. Slider's really good right now. And it's like, this is awesome. This is great. I'm on the top of the world. And then my second outing comes around against Southern Nevada. And, the whole theme was to just build off that. And, keep building, keep getting better every week, keep working hard. I come out, I have, I'd say, probably my best outing of the year. Unfortunately, we did lose that game. But in the fourth inning, I was like 93 to 96 at that point. In the fourth inning, my second to last pitch I threw, I felt a snapping sensation in my elbow. And I was like, ooh, like that was weird. And I thought nothing of it. And then I threw another pitch and I was like, oh, that's not right at all. Like the way I'd describe it was like it's bouncing up and down. And then I immediately knew what it was. I was like, I ended up getting out on that pitch, and I walked back in the dugout, and I go straight to my head coach, and I was like, I felt the pop in my elbow. Like, I think I just tore my UCL. And from that point, I was on top of the world. to immediately right back down in the dumps. And that was one of the most humbling things ever. Like I think that was God sent, in my opinion. Like that, like one more thing you got to learn. Because obviously it's like I'm on top. I'm like peak life at that point. And it's like you just got everything taken away from you. And that was extremely humbling once again. So I've been through the whole rehab process so far, but like I couldn't have done anything I've done so far in that without the people around me.
So let me go back to you tear your UCL, right? And you've had this mindset change,
Yeah.
From summer ball, winter ball, into the actual spring.
Yeah.
Was there any part of you that wanted to slip back into those old mindsets? And how did you keep yourself from sliding back?
I mean,
because essentially that's a lot major setback than getting rocked in summer ball, your previous low. So how did you handle that? What was your approach to, surgery, rehab, and everything else to get to where you're at now?
I mean, at first it was like, it wasn't good at all. Like I was an emotional train wreck. Like I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this just happened to me, just playing victim. But it was like, hey, you got to sit back and realize that this is happening for a reason and there's a lesson you can learn out of this. Like that was another thing that helped. It was like more of like, instead of why me, it's what can I learn? And it's like, if I didn't have any of the people around me, like I don't know where I'd be right now. Cause like I remember there was one phone call. I'm talking to one of my teammates. I'd just gotten surgery the day before, and I was just like, I don't know what to do. I'm scared. And like, these are people that have been through this. Like, thankfully, unfortunately, but thankfully, I've had teammates that have been through this, that have gotten Tommy John and gone throughout the whole process. I remember being on the phone and I was like, I don't know what to do. And they started reading me scripture that, applied to the things I've been going through right now. And it was like, I'm listening to this and I'm literally sitting there crying, because it's like, it was so vulnerable. It was like, these people really care about me. And, they do what it takes for me to be happy. It's like they're reading me scripture and I'm sitting there crying to them, and it's like, wow. Like the brothers I have through this, and it was the biggest blessing. It's some of my best friends, they've been through me. They've been with me throughout this whole process, and it's been awesome to be around them and watch them grow and watch obviously me grow. But, I couldn't have done it without that select group of teammates. So
that's why it's a team sport, brother.
Absolutely.
That's what an amazing story.
Yeah.
Wow, where do we go from here?
I don't even know.
Let's see here. So you rehab, obviously. When do you realize, you just signed, like we talked about with the Brewers 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
When does that first even come on your radar? Because I'm assuming, and obviously at that point in time, you're injured. It's still not even in your head right now.
Yeah. Throughout the whole process, like when I was pitching, I had teams texting me, like area scouts reaching out, like, hey, I'm so-and-so, I'm with this team, like, I'm excited to follow you. And I was like, that was another part where I was like on top of the world, like, whoa, I got like 10 pro teams hitting me up right now. Like, this is so cool. Like, because I never thought it would come to that.
Yeah.
So it was like, that was super cool.
Did you have any inclination that, like, the first text, was it a text that you got first from a team?
Yeah, it'd pretty much just like be one of the scouts coming out, introducing themselves. And
what were you thinking in your head at that point? Going from summer ball, and now you've got scouts walking up to you, introducing themselves.
I just didn't think it was real. I was like, whoa, like, I'm not that good. But, And then it started to become a reality, and I was like, whoa, these teams are actually interested. Like, hey, I'm looking straight behind my catcher, and it's like I got 10 or 12 dudes holding up a radar gun every time I throw a pitch. It's like, whoa. That was another like cool feeling. That one definitely helped the ego, I'll be honest. But yeah, that was super cool. And then that started coming to fruition. And then it was like I tore my UCL, and I was like, none of these guys are gonna talk to me anymore. Oh well. And it was just like a big like, all right, well.
Did any of them reach out and see how the surgery went,
Yeah,
see how you were feeling?
for the most part, most of them like, hey, heard you're getting
So they
surgery.
still kept in touch. It wasn't like we're done with this guy.
Yeah, no, it wasn't at all. A lot of teams nowadays aren't really scared of TJ because it's like, unfortunately, like it's so common.
Well, the medical
now.
field has come so far since
so much.
20 years ago.
Yeah,
so yeah,
absolutely. But that was another thing where I was like, all right, well, that just went out of the window. There's not a chance anymore. So it's like, how can I get to the point where I'm healthy for next year so I can pitch a whole season next year? And got surgery in March. Started rehab, I think a week or week or two after I got surgery, and it was going smooth. Range of motion is the worst thing I've ever been through, but at that point rehab's going well, and stuff's looking up, and then throughout the whole process, the only team that hadn't lost touch with me was the Brewers. It's like, hey, this guy's still reaching out and he wants to meet and he wants to talk to me. And like, hey, they invited me to their draft workout. It's like, I was the only guy there that was injured. So
you couldn't even pitch.
Yeah, I couldn't even pitch. My whole goal there was to just advertise myself, show off my personality, show I'm a good person.
Yep.
So, because that matters.
Oh, it matters a whole bunch.
It matters a lot. So, we ended up going to that, and then, hey, like, I started getting calls like, hey, there's probably a chance you get taken this year. And I'm like, whoa. Like, I'm injured, dude. I threw 7 innings this year. Like, there's no chance for that. And it's like, hey, other teams are starting to call. Like, hey, we're interested in you. Hey, there's this. And it's like, wait. And then that spiraled into another thing where it's like, I have no clue what I want to do now. Because it's like, if I'm going to have this option, like, my whole dream, everything I've worked for is for this, like playing professional baseball. And then I'm spiraling, and I'm like, I need to talk to someone about this. So I ended up calling my head coach, and, we're weighing out our options. He's telling me pros, he's telling me cons to it. Like, hey, we could do this, and maybe you could get more next year. And I was like, totally on board with going back to school. And then I can't remember what day it was, about 2 weeks ago, I'm at rehab. I get a call. Hey, the Milwaukee Brewers, they sent an offer. And I was like, no way. And originally I had said no, because it was like, hey, I'm dead set on going back to school. Like, I'm going to commit to a good school. We're going to do this. And then they were like, hey, we want you to talk to this guy in the organization. He just wants to have a conversation with you, answer any questions you have. And I was like, all right, cool, I'll do it. We ended up having a conversation that changed everything, the whole outlook on what I had with this. And it was like, whoa. And at this point, my head's still spiraling. I have no clue what to do, because it's like, I really want to go back and play at Central, because it's like, that's been the best 2 years of my life so far. And then, I started sitting down. I'm talking to my family about it. I'm talking to my coach about it. And I'm like, I don't know. I was right in the middle, directly in the middle. And then I was like, all right, I'm going to pray about it. And then I'm going to wake up tomorrow, and I'm going to see how I feel. Prayed about it that night, just asking for direction. And, obviously, like, this is part of your perfect plan. Like, tell me what to do. I woke up that morning, I was like, I want to be a professional baseball player. And at that point, I had accepted the offer, and we're at to the point where we're at now. So,
what was it like the day you signed? What was the emotion? What'd you feel?
I mean, it
I mean,
was
you're
like,
realizing your childhood dream, essentially. Every child's dream that plays baseball.
yeah, absolutely. I mean, in that, it was a very surreal feeling at first. And then it was a whole nother realization of, hey, this is a whole new journey. So it's like the work doesn't stop just because
No,
I made it. It's like
now you
we
have to
gotta,
work harder.
yeah, now I got a whole new beast I gotta tame. So it was a great feeling. It was a great feeling of accomplishment, but it was another good feeling of like, hey, now I really get to work.
Hmm.
So
Where are you at in the rehab process right now?
so I just started throwing.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's good. That's a good
Yeah.
sign.
So I'm about 5 months out. I just started throwing. Uh, we've been about, this first week has been 45 feet. So I was previously throwing before, and then they had shut me down for like that kind of 2 weeks
Hmm.
that we've been there. And then I just started picking up throwing this week again. And, it's been super smooth so far. Arm feels
Yep, arm
great.
feels great.
Yep. Arm feels great.
So I'm curious. The
Hmm.
day you sign,
Yeah.
what happens after that? Like, what's the process like?
Yeah, so the whole like onboarding process with it is like a big like medical process. Like, hey, we're looking for underlying injuries, stuff like that. Like it's so many doctor's appointments. It was like lab work. I had a physical, and then I had another physical, and then I got to go get all my gear. I got my locker set up, and that was like the big like, oh my gosh, like this is real. Like I remember just like first looking at it, I was like, this does not feel real at all. And that was back to that like feeling of accomplishment,
Hmm.
but that feeling of like, now we go. And then so far, you do all the medical stuff, and then you basically wait for an amount of time for it to get processed, and then you can finally sign your contract. So basically I was at the facility for like 4 or 5 days, kind of just like, twiddling my thumbs, just kind of walking around, getting a feel for everything. But the first day I was in there, I've never been so nervous in my life. Yeah, I was like, oh my gosh.
Dude, what an
Um,
amazing story, dude.
yeah, no, it was awesome. But yeah, that whole onboarding process goes, and then you sign your contract, and that's when you can start working out, throwing, doing all that.
Is that an everyday thing?
Yeah, so basically like a day-to-day routine or my weekly routine. So I'll throw Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and then I'll have like a movement type of lift Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. So yeah, I just got my butt kicked earlier. Yeah. But my workouts will line up on that Monday, Wednesday, Friday as well, but it is every day. Like I get paid to keep my body right now. And it's
Hey,
super cool.
that's awesome. I
Yeah.
think that's a dream job right there.
It's an absolute dream come true. It's everything I've ever wanted in life, and now it's just like
Hey, it's just the
getting,
beginning.
yeah, now it's just, being present and realizing that this is going to be a very long process, and I can't be too worried about whether I'm going to make it to an affiliate after spring training. It's like I got to control what I can control today.
Hmm.
And it's like, can I get better today? It's just finding a way to just be present and, living day to day compared to looking too far forward or living in the past. And, that's what a lot of people struggle with, in my opinion, is just being present. And, just being present every day has been great. I
What
just
a
get,
what a
yeah,
great outlook, dude.
yeah, I want to work hard in that moment.
I'll tell you this: you've come a long, long way, especially mentally,
Yeah.
from the high school days. I
Hmm.
remember coming to those games, dude. You were like the class clown, but in the dugout.
Yeah.
I won't bring up the missing tooth thing, though. I
Oh,
promise.
the
The
toothless.
toothless.
That was fun though. That
That
was
was
funny.
hilarious. You know, Sammy, my 12-year-old, we still refer to as toothless around the house.
Really.
Yeah, I was like, hey, I got Caleb coming on the podcast today, and
Hmm.
he was like, and I was like, toothless, and he goes, oh,
Yeah.
so. And when you signed with the Brewers, I told
Hmm.
him too, and he was like, no way, he was jacked about that
That's
too. And
awesome. Thank you.
but yeah, man, I what a great story.
Yeah.
Just knowing you from high school till
Hmm.
now, it's absolutely amazing.
We've came a long way for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So where do you see yourself in 5 years?
I mean, hopefully pitching in the big leagues, but, I mean, obviously I just want to live my day to day. I want to recover first.
Yeah,
And
of
then,
course.
yeah, and then we kind of see where it goes from there. But obviously, hopefully in 5 years, I'll be a
Standing
big
on the
league.
mound in a
Yeah.
big league stadium.
Yeah.
Dude, I hope I can see you there too. That'll be great, man.
Yeah.
The day you make, I'm not going to say if, the day you make it, I don't care if you're in Toronto, or you're still with the Brewers, we're flying to wherever you're going to be pitching, and we're going to watch that. I wouldn't miss that for the world.
That would be awesome.
So, all right, we're going to flip it a little bit. I'm going to
Okay.
ask you some off-the-wall questions here.
Let's hear it.
Any hobbies or any side talents that you have that you want to share?
I mean, I just my whole thing is just, I don't hate it at all, actually, but I really like being active. So it's I'll go out and play different kinds of sports. I've been playing a lot of golf recently since I've gotten back into it, but I love playing golf. I'll go play pickleball, and then when all my buddies are around, we'll play some pickup basketball. It's it's fun being athletic, and it's fun, being out and about, playing different sports. It's just a total different animal for me. But I have definitely been on the golf grind. Yeah.
How you swinging them out there?
Oh my God. Don't even get me started about that. It's
Play
bad.
baseball better than you play golf, obviously.
Yeah, that's for sure. Hey, I did shoot an 87 at TPC Scottsdale.
Hey, that's not bad.
That was a PR.
That's a decent course.
It was a hard course, for
Oh,
sure.
yeah. I've played it before, too.
Yeah, no, definitely great course, though. But
golf's a good game to mentally prepare you as well.
yeah, that game is not forgiving at all. So, yeah, that's another little thing I like to. It'll help me keep the mindset right. Yeah, I just shanked the ball 60 yards right, but
next shot.
We still got to stay cool, calm, and composed, because you still got to make the next one. So it's yeah.
Signing with the Brewers organization, have you met anybody that
Yeah, I mean,
anybody that you would just be like, wow.
Yeah, I mean, first day, it's dude, I'm around kids that were just playing the College World Series. Guys, I watch a lot of college baseball, and it's whoa, I'm right next to this dude now. I'm not watching him through a screen. So it's been super cool to meet a bunch of guys that played at a whole bunch of different levels. It's awesome, because it's you get to hear about their experience at their school, and this guy's experience, this guy's journey. It's been awesome so far, and you get so many different outlooks, and you get so much more perspective to see what other people have been through. Hey, this is how I work. These are the resources I use, and it's back to that ping pong effect. Hey, I can learn from this guy because he's been through this, and hey, this guy does this differently because of this, and it's going to be really nice going forward to collaborate with these guys about pitching and just life knowledge and stuff like that. It's been super cool so far.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Ultimate pitcher. You can choose any major leaguer, past, present, and future, different attributes. So fastball, delivery, intensity, whatever you want to put in there. But if you could mix and match, create a pitcher for me. Your ultimate pitcher.
Ooh.
Unstoppable.
To start off, Matt Brash slider, best pitch in baseball. I'd say Joe Kelly mindset on the mound, just a big FU. Shoot. Why am I blank? I'm going Pedro Martinez fastball.
Intelligence.
Yeah. Ooh.
There's one guy.
Greg Maddux.
Okay.
Yeah.
Dude, I was going to say.
Greg Maddux pitch ability, I'd say. Yeah.
Curveball.
I'm not a big curveball guy.
Not a big curveball guy?
Fan, no. I mean, my ideal mix would be a fastball, sweeper, changeup, sinker, cutter kind of deal. But, oh my gosh, why? Let's go Logan Webb sinker. Blanking on the changeup. I literally can't think of it. There's one person I'm thinking of, and I can't think of it. You
can't think of his name?
Yeah. Let's go Scooble changeup.
Scooble changeup?
Yeah. Scooble changeup is ridiculous. But so is his like bulldog mentality. I
Yeah.
love watching that guy pitch.
Favorite pitcher of all time? Like who since
Ooh.
you started
Ooh.
pitching, in high school, who did you look up to like that is who I want to model my game after?
I mean, I wouldn't even say it was like one person. It was just like, hey, like what do these guys do best? And it's like they compete well, they throw strikes, and they're disciplined in their routines. I mean, like everyone nowadays wants to be like Skeens. That guy
I mean,
is awesome.
yeah.
But I don't know. There's just like so many guys that I'd like to like try and compare myself to, but like at the end of the day, like I want to be my own person, so I wouldn't say like I model my game after anyone.
Well, yeah,
Say,
you want to be yourself, but
yeah.
everybody growing up has those.
Oh,
I mean, I got one behind you over there, Nolan Ryan,
that guy's dog.
just a dog.
I don't know. I really liked watching.
I think my favorite pitcher to watch growing up was Maddox. He was in
Yeah.
my,
Yeah.
as a kid and in early 20s and late teens, like watching Maddox, just
Yeah.
he was a surgeon on the mound.
Seriously.
He could put the ball anywhere he wanted to, but I think more than that is his memory and his
Yeah.
ability to, 6 months down the line, still remember the
Yeah,
last
that
time he
ex-
pitched
yeah,
to
that
that guy
exact
and the
at bat.
exact at bat. And,
Yeah.
So that to me, in any sport,
Mhm.
the mental side of it is huge.
Yeah.
And Maddox was he was the GOAT.
That's why they call him the professor,
Oh
baby.
yeah, dude. He was. Have you ever watched the YouTube shorts and the YouTube videos where it's Maddox and Bonds talking about their head-to-head
Yeah,
at
they're
bats?
talking about their at bat.
Oh
and it's
my God,
literally
dude.
it's just they're saying the same thing.
Same thing.
Yeah.
It's that level of player that's gotten to that
Yeah,
level mentally and
exactly.
intellectually, and it's absolutely amazing to watch how they break things down like
Yeah. I mean, I'm hoping I can reach a threshold like that.
that. Hey, if you keep up the way you're going,
Hopefully.
it's possible.
Honestly, I'll go Trevor Bauer.
Trevor?
Yeah, I liked watching that dude a lot. He pitches with fire, obviously all the stuff that went on, but at the end of the day, he was a really good ball player. And
He was.
Yeah, I had the opportunity to talk to him and, just talk about baseball and his approach to things, and he is probably the most intellectual pitcher I've ever talked to.
Really?
He knows everything. He knows everything. He knows how to read a hitter with one swing of the bat. It's like you can tell all of his holes immediately. He's like, yeah, I did it to all your friends right there because we were filming one of those videos.
Yeah, the facility.
Yeah, but he was like super cool. So,
That's awesome.
yeah.
Well, dude, I appreciate you coming on today.
Yeah, I
Thank you
appreciate the
so much.
opportunity.
What an inspirational story.
Yeah,
And best of luck to you with the Brewers. We'll be watching you for sure.
absolutely.
Thank you for tuning into this episode of the Diamond Grind Podcast. Until next time, see you later.